Well, the Saints traded up again to go and get another player in the 4th round. So the Saints traded up to number 127 with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags are going to be receiving number 227 in the 7th round, and then a 2024 4th round selection from the New Orleans Saints. So let's break it down. So just so you guys know, this is the only graphic we're having. I'm just going to go a little podcast style, give some thoughts, free flow, and just have some fun while we're talking ball. And we're going to be talking about Jake Haener today, the quarterback out of Fresno State. Now the Saints have 2 Fresno State quarterbacks in their locker room, in Derek Carr and now Jake Haener. Now, overall, I like this pick as a pick. I don't know if I would have gone quarterback here. I would have liked a linebacker. I still think that that's a big need that hasn't been addressed yet, but I do like the move as a whole. And so as I take a look at my draft notes on Jake Haener, he stands at 5'11", 207 pounds. He has 9 3/8 of an inch hands. And actually, this is pretty interesting because he was comped to Drew Brees quite a bit during the pre-draft process because he is a little bit undersized, because he has, great accuracy and he can be a good leader. That being said, his short area accuracy is where he's very, very strong. He is 24 years old, so that's worth noting. He went to Washington to a Fresno transfer, almost transferred back to Washington, which is pretty funny. And he's a guy that we had here as a 5th or a 6th round grade by our NFL draft experts at the Chat Sports Studios. So I don't know if I would have gone here in the 4th round, but I still like the pick for the need at a young quarterback. Because at the end of the day, you have Derek Carr, you have Jameis Winston, but I also don't know, or I'm not confident that the Saints are going to run with Jameis Winston as your long-term backup quarterback. You got to have a plan in case Jameis Winston has more injury issues, or you want to move off of him because you signed him to just a 1-year deal to be the backup. So it's interesting. I think Stetson Bennett just got drafted too. I believe Stetson Bennett just went, so he was on the board. Max Duggan also on the board. Funny thing here, just a little side note, we had a Chat Sports bet. If you hear screaming in the studios, we had a Chat Sports bet with 2 of our hosts here, Matthew Peterson, Harrison Graham, that Stetson Bennett would not get drafted. Petey was absolutely convinced Stetson Bennett was not going to get drafted. Now he just got drafted in the 4th round, which is wild. Anyway, so back to Jake Haener. In terms of his production for Fresno State in 2022, 72% completion rate, 2,896 yards, 8.3 yards per average, 20 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Good decision making. But in 2021, he had 67.1 completion percentage, 4,096 yards, 8.4 yards per catch or per attempt, and then 33 touchdowns and 9 interceptions in 2021. So Jake Haener is a player that I think could be a beneficial long-term guy. In terms of some pros or cons, he's accurate. He diced this year in short area, and he hits the middle range. He hits middle range throws really hard, especially in the 2021 year. He is able to get it right over the middle. He doesn't do a ton of deep throws. He doesn't have the best deep ball accuracy, so I wouldn't expect him to air it out. And another thing to keep in mind, he's not much of a runner. There's not much dual threat ability here. I personally would have rather gone Dorian Thompson-Robinson if you were going to go for a quarterback this early in. I think DTR out of UCLA would have been a great addition because he does offer dual threat ability, but he also has accuracy. He is also very accurate as well compared to Jake Haener. That being said, I still like this move. I think the Saints needed to go get a young quarterback. I've been saying that for a couple of weeks now. In our mock drafts, had the Saints going and getting them later in the 7th round with one of those picks. That being said, obviously the Saints traded one of those picks away, so now you only have one. In terms of some more pros, I'm going to get to some more pros and cons, but I want you to go down and just let me know what you think about the pick. If you like it, type yes. If you don't, type no. Who else would you have rather drafted? Would you rather gone a linebacker? Would you rather have gone Stetson Bennett or DTR? Or would you rather gone like a wide receiver or a linebacker or, another position in need on the DB, safety, something like that? Something like that. Just let me know. I want you to share your thoughts, and I'm going to interact with all y'all in the comment section. And while you do that, just hit the thumbs up icon because it's 100% free to get this content, and it helps this video get to more of the Who Dat Nation. And at the end of the day, don't you want the rest of the squad to be informed just like you? Hit the thumbs up icon so that way we can get this video out to more people. So, more pros for him. He does not turn the ball over much. He has really good timing and rhythm, and he's a smart player because he can see pre and post snap stuff very well. He reads the field very well. He can pick up blitzes. He can pick up coverages. He can figure out where am I going to throw the ball before he can even get to, or before the snap even happens. And then when things change after the snap, he can still deliver. He is really tough, which is something I love. He's a 3-time captain. He's a strong leader for the Fresno State Bulldogs. And he did have a really crazy comeback against UCLA in 2021. In terms of the cognitive test, he tested in the 96th percentile, which is really, really good. And then some cons for him. He did take a step back in his numbers this year, but he played in 3 fewer games. Like I said earlier, he's not much of a runner. You're not going to get a ton of dual threat ability there. And he has issues under pressure, and he will take too many sacks, but he's not scared of the contact. So that's something that, as a quarterback, I don't necessarily want you taking sacks all the time. I want you to stay healthy. That being said, I like that he is willing to just stand in the pocket and, if he's going to be able to rifle that ball down the field and take the hit in the process, that's something that I like because it shows he's tough. It shows he wants to make the play and he's gritty and he's going to get it done. He's listed as 6 foot, as 6'1". He is sub 6 foot. He's a small dude overall. Arm is average at best. It could get better. It could get worse. But I think that this is just a solid depth piece for the Saints. Like I said, I don't know if you're super confident in running with Jameis Winston as your long-term backup quarterback. Yeah, he's a great player, or he's a fun player. He was a first-round pick. He was a first overall pick by the Bucs. You wanted to have him work out to be your franchise quarterback, and it didn't, and you made an effort to bring Jameis Winston and keep him in the locker room. But I still don't believe that the Saints want to keep Winston around for the long term. You got to have somebody younger. You got to have somebody who can play longer. It just makes too much sense. Like, getting a quarterback made sense. Again, don't know if I would have done it in the 4th round, but I still like the move of getting a backup quarterback. It's just one of those weird things, guys, that the more I think and the more I talk about it, I want this team to succeed. And I want this team to be a force to be reckoned with in the NFC South. I want us to get back on top of the division. And I think that the Saints could do that. I just don't necessarily believe that quarterback was the biggest move. I still think that guys like Ivan Pace, Henry To'oTo'o, I always butchered. Henry To'oTo'o, also available as a linebacker. You have some wide receivers available. You go and get Nick Saldiveri. I like that pick as well. The more, admittedly, I was looking at it and I was like, I don't know if that's a huge need, but he's listed as an offensive tackle, but he's going to fill in at offensive guard. He's going to be a player that's going to be impactful, and he's a massive sleeper and tested through the roof in terms of his RAS, and he fits that Saints draft pick mold just through and through into a T. So, just before I kind of wrap up my thoughts and get out of here so you guys can get back to watching some more draft coverage, obviously by Chat Sports, because I know you guys are getting the picks before ESPN announces them. I mean, they're still probably talking about a couple picks. They probably haven't even broken down the trade, and I'm already in the studio cooking up some heat for you guys. That being said, subscribe. Help us out. It's 100% free. We're trying to continue to grow this channel to be the biggest Saints YouTube channel across the internet. We take pride in giving you entertaining and informative analysis. I'm still new to the hosting game. I'm still learning the game and the ins and outs of being a true, media guy for the New Orleans Saints and somebody that you guys can trust and come to on all sorts of content and all sorts of updates. So I want you to help me grow and help be a part of my growth process by subscribing and locking us in. So just to round things out, my final thoughts. You can call this Trace's final takes. So for my final takes, quarterback was a need. QB3 is a good need. I don't think Jake Luton is not your QB3. Stay to the practice squad. Jake Haener, maybe you replace him on the practice squad. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I like the move. I don't know if I would have done it this early. I still think linebacker is a much bigger need than QB3. Realistically, could be a QB2 in, not this year, but in coming years. I just really wish the Saints would, or not wish, I really hope that the Saints continue to go and get their guy, because that's something that Mickey Loomis has been stressing throughout this pre-draft process. When we find our guy, we are going to go and get him. Jake Haener, their guy. Nick Saldivari, their guy. And you know that because they traded up to go and get him. So, Who Dat Nation, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. I hope you guys enjoyed this style of video. If you like this style of videos, give me some feedback in the comments. If there's things that I could be doing better for you, give me some feedback in the comments. I'm trying to be the best member of the Saints YouTube game out there. So I need your feedback and I need to grow, and you guys can help me do that. Otherwise, I hope you guys have had a wonderful day. I'll probably be back with another pick later because who knows, the Saints may trade again. But either way, we will have you informed. We will take it. We'll have you covered, and we'll take care of all of the updates for you guys. So lock us in, subscribe, hit the thumbs up icon, and most importantly, Who Dat Nation, y'all stay golden. We'll catch you next time.